Welcome back to Project Ozone 3 Kappa mode, and a lot of talking in today's episode, compressing a lot of progress, a lot of the starting progress into as quickly as I can, so that it gets you off to a good start, and you don't have to watch me actually crafting stuff. So let's just go through from the end of the last episode and get this started. First of all, some feedback from the previous episode. I got someone saying, how is Kappa mode so hard? It looks like a standard start to me. Well, look up the ME controller. It's one of the decent ones. So ME controller requires a whole bunch of different mods. This is the hardness in the Kappa mode. It requires lots of different mods. You can almost skip straight into an AE2 sort of system in mid-game. That's normally one of the defining points of mid-game. In this case, not so much. Crystal Clusters from Blood Magic needs Astral Sorcery, needs Lordcraft, needs Pneumatic Craft, and other bits and pieces, including like Iridium from Crushed Netherrack and all kinds of other stuff like that, just to get the controller. Yes, you can run an AE2 system without a controller using chests. It's not quite the same, but yeah, you can do it. However, yes, so that is why it's so hard. We've got to get through lots of mods to actually play the pack. It doesn't let you skip ahead and sort of cheat. Well, not cheating, but you know what I mean. Anyway, mob farm in the last episode, I made it faster to actually process stuff. Let's start at the top and work our way down. So first of all, I crafted translocators. These are these things right here. And item translocators, if you haven't met them before, are extremely fast. So you put two of them down like this. Make sure the output side is sticking out, the input side is sticking in, pushing in, and then hit them both with a glowstone, and this will basically transfer stacks at a time extremely quickly from any inventory to any other inventory. In fact, I don't need that bottom one anymore. Let me just grab my pick out of my backpack. And if you're wondering why my tools are not in my inventory, well, I went somewhere. I'll show you that in a second. So let's just get rid of you. Okay, and yeah, so this is going to work perfectly fine. And you need to have it within one block like this. I don't think you can put that here and then have it stretch over the top. If I remember rightly, you can, but maybe I'm misremembering. Anyway, it's very, very fast. So this is going into not into our main system. I decided to put a filter into place, and it was a good idea that you do. Please don't put it into your main system unless you've got a huge system, and in fact, just don't do it anyway. I'll show you in a second. So black, white, white is our new sort of intermediate sorting the filter dimension, whatever you want to call filter channel. And I've got then that pulling out from that inventory all the actual solidified experience. So anytime I want experience now, I can just shift right click and get experience like that. And that works. Over here, I've got some storage I want to keep stuff for, like Abyssal Craft stuff like here, Shadow Gem Shards, Reliquary stuff, mob drops like Wither Dust, and various bits and pieces like wheat. Wheat will actually come useful for making cakes, for different dimension cakes. We're going to get to those soon. So yeah, these are the things I want to keep. However, before we get to that, these all need to be upgraded with translocators. I know, so don't bear that in mind. I also crafted. Oops. I also crafted. Where are they? Item ducts. Not those item ducts. There's impulse ones. Here we are. I'll show you how to do them in a second. But I can get faster versions than these. But even translocators are much faster still. In fact, hugely faster than any kind of item duct. So if you can use translocators, use translocators. Otherwise, impulse item ducts are going to be the standard going forward. So all this does is pull out loot bags, put it into this, pull them back again, and put them back into the same inventory, the same black, white, white channel. Over here, whenever I get patient bags, which are a special type of bag, I take them out, and all they do is they get opened, and 99.99% chance that you get one back. But then occasionally you get a Gaia Spirit back. So I just put them in this. It can be compacted into a single block, but I just left it like this as an illustration. You're taking stuff out, putting it into another one, taking stuff out, putting it into another one, and it loops around, and occasionally you might get a Gaia Spirit. One hasn't happened yet, but it might actually happen. Anyway, aside from those, we're all operating on this filter sort of channel. Here, we've got 3 outputs into these slow item ducts. We can probably improve that fairly soon, but they get pulled straight out. And then I've got filters here, basically with whitelist filters saying this stuff needs to be trashed. Okay, this stuff needs to be trashed and on its way around. Whatever I don't want, I'm putting into these. So all the armors are in here using ignore metadata, ignore MBT. So anything, any repair value in here is getting trashed. And I'm also trashing things like raw chicken. I don't really need the food any longer because I went to the quests in here and went to saturation totem, took a couple of stacks of racks to actually feed that into my own inventory, and now you can see my saturation is up to full. So I've spent that money on basically not having to worry about food. You can spend on whatever you like in your particular world. Then I have a miscellaneous chest. This is where I'd like your help. I'm looking for something that lets me stack unstackable stuff. There used to be an anti-barrel in the pack. That is no longer the case. It was causing some kind of crash, I think. Oh, unless the anti-barrel is still in there. No, anti-builder. No, it's not there. So that would be great, but you can't actually have that anymore. It's causing crashes when a lot of items were put in it, I think. So yeah, I'd like some way of letting these be stacked. Sometimes you can stack things like that in storage drawers, but only like a few, not very many. So I'm just putting them in a crate for now. We'll see later. After all, it passes all of that. It gets to these ender chests, which is our main system, and these have again whitelist filters, so they'll only allow what I select in here, etc. And that all goes back to our main system. Fine. So the main system then, and I can turn it on whenever I like, of course, but for now I've turned it off while I'm recording. The main system over here, I wanted to do a few things, and let me just check. Are they all still here? Yes. So I'm shortening the length of any cable runs whenever I can by using ender chests. So this one happens to be the one that's the same one as the ones that are above the furnace. It's like white, black, white. Doesn't really much matter, other than I don't then have to run a cable down, and then I can expand at the number of furnaces just by duplicating the ender chest, and it's the same inventory at that point. Because it's full right now because I've been basically making stuff from here. I'm going to replace this accumulator with an absorption hopper because it's lets me control what it picks up from, more importantly, and that lets me either move it out of this room entirely, like up underneath in the ceiling or something, or down if I wanted to. And that lets me shorten some of this stuff around. We can't use translocators here. Well, maybe we can. They do have a filter option, so we may be able to use translocators to filter to this and this, which would sit there and there, and then the filters would only pull stuff out of there that matched the same thing as here. But we may not have the use mod owner thing, so I may need to actually do it this current way anyway. But anyway, that's that. And then over here we've got the augment here for gear working dies. The gear working dies are very, very useful. It lets you make, in particular, diamond gears and emerald gears. Those two are in use because I made the rest of the thermal expansion machines, the basic ones. So pulverizer, induction smelter, magma crucible, and fluid transposer. These two need this one in order to be made. So they need hardened glass, basically, from the induction smelter. That's just lead and some obsidian, and you can make that using the pulverizers. That's why I've got those two machines together. This one I'm just going to put glowstone into, and then you see it's got over here, and if I want to just upgrade the item duct, I can do it like that. And it starts getting filled with glowstone, which makes them much, much faster, and you can see them as well. These are the transparent versions, so all's good there. These are also being fed by the same solar panels we normally have, and also, yes, that's the charging station from Immersive Engineering. If I didn't already show it, I may have already shown it in the episode. Okay, so lots of stuff done there, and we've got lots of resources piling in as far as that's concerned. But some bits and pieces up here, but other than that, we've got everything sorted. So the next thing I did was create a hunting dimension frame. Here it is. It's got it lit. You just have to right click it with the sword and you can go through there. Let me just put a bunch of stuff away just to be nice and safe. And you can go through here and sneak, and it'll take you to the other dimension. And that's dark and has lots of hostile mobs permanently, pretty much. So you're going to want to think about some way of basically enclosing the portal on the other side. Whoop, I came back through because I was holding down sneak. But yeah, it's dark on the other side, and let me just not hold sneak this time. And yeah, it's pretty terrifying, to be honest. There you go. It's very, very dark, and those creepers, I'm going to go back through. So you're going to need some way of keeping safe when you go through. And that's why I didn't carry anything with me, just in case. You know, the worst case, this tends to happen to me far too often. Okay. So that's the hunting dimension. We got that opened. The next one up is probably the deep dark, and that is, well, in fact, maybe not the next one, but is the next one that's probably attainable is Deep Dark. And the major grind of the Deep Dark stuff, not really grind for you, but you need to set something up to make lots of cobblestone. Because it needs, I don't know, 250,000 cobblestone or something to actually, to make the portal. Because if you look at the Deep Dark portal, Deep Dark, if you haven't been there before, it's very, very dark. It has things that attack you if you don't light everything up. So, obviously, very dark. But also, the portal requires these quintuple and quadruple compressed cobblestone blocks. So yeah, they will go through crafting sort of things, auto crafting stuff. But the auto crafters we have right now are too slow, so I may have to look into compacting drawers to actually do it faster. And then we've also got this warp stone on the middle, which requires some other stuff. It requires us to get into Ender IO. And it requires us to get corallium from Abyssal Craft, so I'll need to look into those kind of things. But you'll need that compressed cobblestone anyway, so you may as well set something up. So to get that, you just get the previous tier of cobblestone generators, like this one. And you surround that with blocks of diamond. This is blocks of emerald, that's the last stage. And of course, I don't have many diamonds at the moment, so I'm going to have to get more out of the system and keep on upgrading those meshes. And of course, we've got Civ Fortune now, I suppose, so I can also look at that as far as that's concerned. So, yes, we're going to need to upgrade more of these. I think I have one I've upgraded to the next tier somewhere. Yes, that's tier 2. No, I can go in there as well. Do I have any other cobblestone generator? Cobblestone. Not in there, is it in here? Yes, I did create one. So that's the block of diamonds one. From that, you're going to need lava wood. So lava wood, just put planks in a hopper connected to this, into one of these casting basins, and then put lava in by bucketing in from the back here into any of the drain ports. So any of these will do perfectly fine, and you'll get lava in there. And in fact, do I have any on me? I don't have any wood on me. But yeah, wait, your lava wood, you wrap that around the cobblestone generator, then wrap it around that with blocks of emerald, and you get to the top tier. Okay, so when we got to the top tier, we're going to then set up something that does this. So I'm going to use that as a simulation by putting it down, and I'm just going to grab where are my translocators? There we go. So you're going to set something up, something like this, assuming this works. So cobblestone generator. I don't have anything underneath this, so yeah, that's fine. And let's see if we can pull directly from this to here. Yes, we can perfectly well. That's got 22 in it, so that's good. And we'll speed that up, of course. It takes entire stacks at a time, but this is going to be the top tier one, and you'll leave that running. This thing is going to be the actual the compacting drawer, and you'll be able to get the higher tiers of that out. So that's worthwhile doing. The alternate approach is using like an autocrafter or something like this, the compactor. Not sure how fast this is by comparison to compacting drawers. Compacting drawers are instant, so having those will be actually very useful at this particular point. So you want to set that something up, and you can set more of these lit up along each side. And indeed, you could even have something like this be an ender chest, and then have another one with the same setup with the same ender chest, and then you've got basically 8 of these generating, you know, as much cobble as you actually need, and then have the ender chest have another translocator to the compacting drawers, and then start doing that. I'm going to do it off camera because it's a bit laborious, and you don't need to actually see that. I'm sure you can probably do that in your own world as when you want to go to the Deep Dark, which has lots of ores that you can actually set up quarries for, I'm sure. But we'll get to that at some point soon. As far as other dimensions are concerned, I did also look up to see how hard it will be to get to the mining dimension. Aroma's dimensional world is the mining dimension, and it needs just stone and this mining multi-tool, which is the main problem. That needs astral sorcery, and it needs other mods as well. It needs blood magic, it needs the Erebus, so we need to go to the Erebus anyway. More astral sorcery, and yeah, that's pretty much it. So that's a bit of an issue. So we can't get to the Aroma's mining world and get somewhere nice and safe out there. So the hunting dimension it is if we want an actual overworld kind of dimension, for at least for the moment. And some of the other dimensions we can actually go to, obviously the end, that's the really big obvious one. Twilight Forest is going to be one that we need to get to. Also, you used to have Landia and Lordcraft, and one of them got removed because the developer was a very bad person. Yes, Landia. He basically caused this code to actually cause someone who criticised him to crash. That's against terms and conditions. So Landia got removed, and Lordcraft is still in. Yes, so Landia is no longer in the pack, but Lordcraft is. And that has a dimension, but it's sort of like a quest-related one, if I remember rightly, so we need to actually get to that at some point. Twilight Forest is much earlier and much easier to actually do, so we just get to get some grass sort of set up for a portal to that. I'll probably need to set that up down there. Next one in, I think. And is there anything else? I think there's a couple more. The Abyss, maybe. RF Tool Dimensions, but mainly, yeah, the end. So one thing we're going to need to do next is to look at cakes. Okay, so we have a few dimension cakes available. A nether cake, which, as you might imagine, is just obsidian around a cake. End cake, which is something we can actually make already. Well, the Eyes of Ender we can. So it's mainly the cakes that we can't. And then, is there anything else used with cakes? End cake. Overworld cake. So yes, we're going to want the overworld cake, because if something isn't on the other side ready to bring us back, well, we're a bit stuck. So Twilight Forest should be okay, but other ones less so. So we need to make regular cakes, which is wheat and sugar. We can already make those. The sugar has been made from this cactus right here, easily enough. Wheat is coming from our mob farm, although we could set up something to actually produce more if we wanted. It's not terribly important. However, we're going to need eggs and we're going to need milk. Now, you can get it from Mystical Agriculture, which is one of the other requirements in the pack that you go through. You can ranch it from animals, of course, if you can find a way to spawn cows, which would be nice. And then there's also eggs, which is the same thing, but with chickens. So, you know, you get an idea. And we need to get that done. So, yeah, Mystical Agriculture is probably a good point to head to soon. Now, before we go mob hunting, there are some alternative ways of getting these kind of drops. So I'm just going to get the market up and running. Let's pop you here. Let me pop that one further out. Well, we could. I'm just going to keep him contained. Oh, that's maybe not contained. Let me just grab a couple of pieces of stone. Okay, and let's see what we can actually get from... Oh, I've done it again. Poor guy. Oh, I'm so sorry. There we go. Weathered salesperson. Hello. Okay, so there's a bunch of stuff we can actually get from here, and yeah, so we want milk, and we may be able to get them from almonds, I think. So almond. And almond sapling costs 3 rack. Okay, so I'm going to need some of that. I've got a few of this from getting... in fact, let me just take a few more. From getting the various thermal expansions machines done. That gives you a bit of spending cash. So almond sapling costs 3 rack. And of course, we know what we do with saplings, don't we? We're going to get one of you. Yes. And we're going to get a hopping bonsai pot, our good old friend. Hopping... Where have I put them? Are they in my backpack? I've clearly put them somewhere. There we go. Put some dirt in. I did get a comment, by the way, saying that things grow faster on grass that you put in rather than dirt, i.e. grass blocks. I don't have the enchantment on my abilities to pick that up at the moment, but it's only about 10% faster, so I'm not too concerned about it. And there's our almond sapling, which should grow into almonds, and then we should be able to get those transferred into fresh milk. So almond, although yeah, whether you count almond milk as fresh milk is a different thing entirely. Can we actually make that into what is it, pulverizer? That's flour. Okay, so we can get it that way. Centrifugal separator gets us fresh milk and grain bait. You can use Pam's Harvest Craft as well to get stuff from other animals. So, ground trap, I want to say. Yep, so the ground trap, very, very simple to actually make. In fact, let's just actually make that. So let's get some planks, some sticks, some string, and a chest. And you're going to want to make the grain bait that will let it catch stuff, but let's get that sorted. I just want you and you. Okay, so there's a ground trap. I'm going to go and put those down in, you know, the sort of garden area that we're going to be building where our portals is. I'm going to replace this floor with dirt at some point because we've got some crops growing here as well. And then we'll then use the ground traps with some ground bait in them, or whatever it's called, to get the eggs that we need. So you don't have to go hunting for chickens. If you want chickens via the normal way, you can go and get them by getting into Twilight Forest. So if you want to go there, you can get that too. So we got fresh milk, and ish. And sorry to people who like almond milk. I'm so sorry. Fresh milk-ish, and in fact, I need to take that out so that we're going to get the almonds, and we wait till that comes in. Eventually, this will drop almonds, and then that can get reserved. And then, of course, we can get the eggs as well, which pretty much is all the requirements for cake. And if you don't want the bait, you don't even need the centrifugal separator, just a juicer. And Pam's Harvest Craft, it's just stone, literally. And you get fresh milk straight out of that. So this can't be poured out, or is that just going to be used in lieu of the buckets of fresh milk? So cake, can I just use this? Yes, I can. So I can just use any kind of milk whatsoever, including fresh milk, and I don't need anything else. So yes, just the eggs then to get. So we then need to get the ground trap up and running. Here we are. This is a 7x7. Copy this layout if you can, just to make sure they're all working. They basically need to touch grass and stuff like that, so we don't want them right next to each other or anything like that kind of thing. So in those, I have put in some fruit bait. That's just apples and string. Any fruit really will do, but I'm just using apples and string because I've got loads of both. And you can see here they're starting to produce stuff. Now, I did have grain bait in here before, so that can sometimes produce things like meat. I don't think you get meat from fruit bait, but I've still got a couple with grain bait just in case we need to get some stuff there. But the rest is all fruit bait because that's there's less possible drops for it to actually give you for fruit bait. So it's like 3 instead of 4. So worthwhile to get your eggs. So that's our first egg. And these should actually produce enough for us going forward. So we'll just leave them alone, basically, and come back whenever we need to build the cakes. Make the cakes. One tip I did briefly want to actually try for creosote is just to try the reservoir. Someone did say that we can probably use this instead of using buckets, which would be much better for as far as crafting is concerned. Let's give that a try. So I assume that is the reservoir from Thermal Expansion. Haven't really used them before, not sure why, but no, not really ringing any bells. But let's just see if we can craft them. Yeah, let's just use you. Reservoir. Another piece of copper. Okay, there we go, 1 reservoir. And I also now have enough eggs to make the first cakes, so I have enough for 2. I can make those. And indeed, I can use the Eye of Enders to make an end cake. Okay, so we're also going to want some saplings. So, okay, and that should make an overworld cake. Yep, so we now have a way of getting to the end and getting back, which is good. Let me just quickly check this reservoir basic. I'm not sure how much it can actually hold, so a lot. 10 buckets. Okay, and there are multiple tiers. So if I then put this in here, will I get all of them out? Yes, I will. So yeah, that's much easier and a lot easier crafting. I wish I'd known that when I started. That would have been much easier to make those windmills, water mills even, water wheels. Yes. Anyway, good reservoir. Good tip. Thanks very much. Then I improved stuff down here with translocators. So now there's a single block space which lets me feed any of them on demand. And I'll turn, not you on because there's not much left, but let's say dust. We want dust to be filtered. You'll see it's now feeding in 1 block at a time. And what looks like 1 block, but it's actually 1 stack. And in here you can see they're all now in use. Okay, so I'll turn it back off again just so that I can actually walk in there without my inventory filling. And in there, instead of that vacuumulator, it's now using absorption hoppers, multiple of them. Even so, you can see they're barely keeping up. There's 4 of them, and all of their area is shared, so they're all pulling from the same area. But you can see it sort of works around the room in a sort of certain way. So yeah, it sort of scans out for those. 1 radius upgrade in each is needed for this size of room. Your room, if it's smaller, it will need less. By default, they're 7x7, so the radius upgrade is to 9x9. I have moved the offset down, so it no longer picks up from our smeltery upstairs, but instead picks up from downstairs. There's no seemingly way to reduce the actual vertical area it picks up from. which means I can clean up this area entirely now. I can then put this wall back in, and then there's literally nothing in here anymore that I need to actually look at. So that's pretty good, and everything is much faster. I moved all of the actual gubbins for processing that stuff outside, so 3 ender chests with that pickup inventory, all sending stuff out, just because I can't really use translocators with a mod filter as far as I know. If anyone knows different, let me know. And then these go out to the usual approach, so into the compactor. The compactor translocates into the smeltery chest, not the smeltery chest, the furnaces chest. Otherwise, it goes into this one, and then we've got 4 of these now processing simultaneously. And the next thing I probably will do is translocate stuff out and straight into stuff like this. And we can do that well, we might need to rearrange stuff to do that. They might need to have a gap between them, and then the chest underneath or something along those kind of lines. We can space it out here anyway, and all I need to do then is rerun the power cable along the back. So nice and fast, and that is expandable. Later on, these furnaces will get stupidly fast, so you will need something like the translocators to feed into them. And again, the same thing is true here. I can do that if I want to right now by putting translocators instead of these hoppers, but the limiting factor currently is the furnace speed, so I don't need the translocators. They wouldn't improve anything there whatsoever for the moment. However, everything else is much improved. Behind the scenes, I could do further work here. Right now, I'm still using this stuff, but I could clean this up and have basically our not so much gravel. That's not actually connected, I don't think. Oh, that's an output. That's fine. Yeah, so I need to. That's not fine. That shouldn't be an output to the top. That's in the. Oh no, it is. It's fine. It's to that flint. Anyway, before I was getting distracted, yes, I may well replace some of this to make it a little bit easier to understand. But again, you get the idea. Same kind of approach needed for the future. Otherwise, we are good, I think. And what's an episode with cake in it complete, or at least end cake in it complete, without actually going to the end? So let's go ahead and do that. You're going to want a few bits and pieces to get there. One is some cammonite. You're going to need to just make that out of clay. That's easy enough. There we go. I'm just going to make 1 stack of you. Yep. We're going to use that along with some blaze, along with some ender pearl to make eyes of ender. And I'm going to want only really 6, but I've just made 10 anyway, and some oak saplings, if I remember rightly. So the oak saplings are going to be used to charge things up. You'll see in a second. So I've got a area of sandstone here. Cows spawn because of the grass, by the way. Put you down, and you'll see it's only got 0 of 6 bites. There's not even 1 bite. So if you go through to the other side and put this overworld cake down, it'll have 0 bites as well. I think it's oak saplings. I don't want to waste it, but yeah, let's see what actually happens. So to fuel this one, we're just going to right click. You see there, that's now basically fueled up. And everything else is sorted. I'm just going to put that away, and this can go over here. Okay, and let's go across to the end. So generate the terrain, and we'll see where we end up, really. Hopefully it's not over the void. It is not over the void. That's good. Let's get off this, and that's our way home if we were to kill the dragon, which we can't do just yet, because I can't fly up there. Well, it would be laborious for me to do so. But I guess I will end up building platforms sooner or later. Probably sooner. Anyway, what I was talking about. Yes, I want to put this down. Here will do. Oh, okay. No, there's the breath. That's annoying. Let me see whether I can get close enough. Yes, I can get close enough. And right-click. And we end up back in the overworld. Okay, so we know what the fuel is for each way that we want to transit. And we know where the dragon is now, so that everything is pretty much ready there. So next episode, I guess we're going to try and kill it somehow. I guess I can use my fancy shuriken. I don't have the interference on it, but we can go and collect some endstone easily enough rather than making it with, I think it's lava on top of sand or something along those kind of lines in a stone barrel. You can actually make it in the regular world, but you can just go and vein mine some of it once you've got the dragon down. So yeah, I guess that's in the next episode. Bit of a cliffhanger, but I thought I'd leave you there for that piece of bit of content. And if you want got any suggestions, put them down in the comments below. Let me know if you got any sort of feedback on stuff you've seen so far. Anything I've done wrong, let me know, and I'm more than happy to correct it or cover it in a feedback episode next time. Otherwise, as always, guys, thanks for watching, and we'll see you for the next episode of Project Ozone 3 Kappa mode.